A single street lamp flickers on a quiet, empty avenue. It casts a lonely pool of yellow light onto the pavement, where a newspaper flutters in the cold evening wind. There are no cars moving along the asphalt. No distant sirens wail. From the windows of the tall buildings, no warm light spills out into the growing darkness. The world has fallen silent. The constant, humming backdrop of human activity has simply ceased. This profound stillness is the very first sign of a world without us. It is a quiet that feels vast and unfamiliar, a pause that will stretch into forever. In these first few days, the most immediate change is the loss of power. Automated systems, designed to keep our world running, begin to fail without human oversight. Nuclear power plants, with their complex safety protocols, safely shut themselves down. Hydroelectric dams may run for a little longer, their turbines spinning with the force of the river, but eventually, they too will fall silent. The world's great cities, once glittering webs of light visible from space, are plunged into an encompassing darkness. Only the moon and the stars now illuminate the empty streets and silent skyscrapers of what were once the busiest places on Earth. The sounds of the world begin to change almost immediately. Within weeks, the first green shoots of reclamation appear. The world is full of seeds, waiting for their chance. In the cracks of sidewalks, dandelions and resilient weeds push toward the sun. Lawns, no longer mowed, grow shaggy and wild. Carefully tended gardens become a chaotic mix of cultivated plants and opportunistic newcomers. Vines like ivy and kudzu begin their climb up brick walls and telephone poles, tendrils seeking a hold on abandoned structures. The smells of our cities also transform. Exhaust fumes dissipate and the odor of industry drifts away, replaced by something more elemental. The smell of damp earth after a rain shower. Pollen from uncut grasses and wildflowers fills the air. In some places, a less pleasant smell emerges, the smell of decay. Untended food rotting in homes and supermarkets. This is nutrients returning to the earth. After several months, water becomes a powerful agent of change, working its way into every forgotten corner. The constant leaks from broken pipes have saturated the ground beneath roads, causing the asphalt to soften and heave and crack. In colder climates, the cycle of freezing and thawing accelerates this process. Water seeps into the walls of buildings, where it feeds rampant growths of mold and fungus. Black patches, green patches, white patches spread across wallpaper and plaster. The moisture causes wood to swell and rot from the inside out, weakening floors and support beams in a slow, silent demolition. The world's green mantle continues to spread with surprising speed. What were once manicured parks are now dense thickets. The neat rows of crops have been overtaken by weeds and wildflowers, creating vast, unintentional meadows that ripple in the wind. In suburban backyards, swimming pools have turned into murky ponds, now home to insects and amphibians. The straight lines and sharp angles of our landscapes are beginning to blur, softened by persistent growth. Paint peels from wooden houses, exposing raw wood. Steel begins its slow surrender to rust, on cars, on bridges, on fire escapes. Windows, shattered by storms or falling debris, leave interiors vulnerable. Wind and rain now sweep through what were once our living rooms and offices, scattering papers and hastening decay. Animal populations continue to adapt and shift. With the absence of human-made noise and light pollution, nocturnal animals thrive. Owls reclaim the night skies over cities. Bats reclaim the night skies over cities. Rivers, no longer dredged or polluted, begin to run clearer. Fish populations recover. On land, the animals that succeed are the generalists, the rats, raccoons, and coyotes, learning to navigate strange new territories. 10 years after our departure, the transformation is dramatic. The green tide has become a dominant feature of the urban landscape. Young trees grow in the middle of once busy intersections, their roots buckling pavement. Mosses grow in thick, velvety carpets over statues, softening their features. The buildings themselves are failing. The roofs of smaller structures are the first to go, collapsing until only vine-draped rubble remains. Even steel-framed skyscrapers show deep stains of rust, their lower floors flooded and filled with plant life. The animal kingdom has been reshaped. Feral cats and wild dogs roam, while larger animals move deep into city hearts. A bear might hibernate in a ruined basement, deer graze in a former stadium. Without constant dredging, harbors silt up. Storm surges turn coastal city streets into canals, as the infrastructure we built to hold back the ocean succumbs to the tide. A century on, our once great cities are almost unrecognizable. They have become unique ecosystems, mosaics of ruin and forest. Mighty oak trees now mature, rise from the rubble of fallen buildings. Maple trees now mature, rise from the rubble, their canopies forming a dense forest roof over the old city grid. The streets below are now little more than shaded pathways for animals, carpeted in moss and leaf litter. Here and there, the skeletal remains of a skyscraper still jut into the sky, draped in green, its windows all gone. A hollow monument inhabited by birds of prey. Most of our creations have returned to the elements. Objects made of wood, of paper, of natural fibers have long since rotted away, becoming part of the soil. The steel skeletons of our cars have rusted into fragile, lacy shells, many almost completely buried beneath soil and vegetation. Even our more durable materials show their age. The steel reinforcing bars inside concrete have rusted and expanded, causing the concrete to crack and crumble. Great bridges, icons of our engineering prowess, have begun to collapse, their suspension cables snapping, their road decks falling into the rivers below. The world's wildlife has settled into new patterns. Many species once endangered by our activities have rebounded. Whales thrive in oceans free from traffic. Migratory fish like salmon return to ancestral spawning grounds in incredible numbers. The planet is finding a new equilibrium. Yet some legacies endure. Plastics mixed into soil and sediment, landfills slowly leaching, and radioactive waste, a dangerous echo of our power for tens of thousands of years. These are the ghosts of our civilization. After 1,000 years, very little of our civilization would be recognizable. The forests have conquered all but the most arid deserts. The tallest skyscrapers have fallen, their steel frames finally succumbing to corrosion. All that remains of our cities are strange, unnaturally geometric hills and valleys, covered in trees. Underneath, a thin artificial stratum. Rubble, rust, plastic fragments. The Great Pyramids of Egypt, the stone carvings of Mount Rushmore, their features softened and worn, like mountains that remember having faces. The Earth continues its slower cycles. Ice ages will come and go, continents will drift. The climate will shift in ways apart from our long-vanished emissions. Life will evolve, new species will arise, others will fade away. Some might even evolve to live among our most enduring ruins, just as some creatures today make their homes in caves and on rock faces. Our time here will be a single, brief chapter in the immense and ancient story of life on this planet. This journey into a world without us is not an indictment, but a humbling thought experiment. It reveals nature's resilience and the surprising fragility of what we built. The processes of decay and renewal are not acts of revenge. They are simply the fundamental laws of the universe in action. Rust, rot, growth. The planet does not miss us. It simply moves on. And so we end not with destruction, but with profound, quiet transformation. A river flowing through the heart of a vanished city. Fish in a sunken subway. A wolf's howl echoing through a silent, forested valley. Life, in its infinite and patient forms, endures.